Hey guys. Um, Basically, these are my sleeper teams for the year. I call them surprises teams. I think that are going to do surprisingly well, given uh, what I'm seeing in spring training so far. I haven't seen all the spring training games, but I've seen clips from pretty much every team that. Uh, so I've seen actual games. I've seen surprise teams. No, I've seen games, but I've also seen all sorts of clips and everything. So yeah, basically, I wanted to talk about my teams that I think are gonna do really well. This are actually gonna make the playoffs this year, that didn't last year. So I'm gonna start with the Angels. I want to list these players they got. They got Quintana in the offseason. They got Alex Cobb. They got Dylan Bundy, who's actually underrated. Great off-speed pitcher. We've got they got Griffin Canning. Watch for him. I think he's gonna have his best year yet. He's been on the cusp of being a really, really good pitcher. He just needs some consistency. Uh, we got Tawny, who's actually probably gonna pitch this year and DH, depending on the day. I think that's really awesome. Even though he's an American League player, I guess when he's not pitching, he can hit. He's very good at a very good swing. It's a matter of him staying healthy and keeping his mental game up there. I got Joe Adell, who's a really good hitter already. Joe Adell is a very young player. He was really hyped up, and I think this year he's going to be able to handle. He's going to have less hyped up based on his fielding last year, and he's going to improve in that area. He's already a really, really good hitter, I think. Dealt with some health issues, is my understanding, in this last year, but played through them. We got Mike Trout, as always. Got Rendon. We got. I think Barreto's actually going to have a breakout year. Or at some point, he's a good contributor there at utility infielder speed. Really, I think he's a future Gold Glove, and I think he's going to improve on his hitting. He also, I think he needs to be less aggressive, but I think he overall, I think he's good. I think Stassi's actually a really good catcher with his bat, but he's really good defensively. So completely good catcher. Most teams don't have that good of a catcher. He's one of the best in the league as far as I'm concerned. They added they're keeping Buttrey, who's a really good closer. He played pretty well last year. The ERA doesn't say it much, but he had some very good outings. I saw from a talent perspective, he's really, really good. They got Jose Iglesias and from what do you call it, as well, from Baltimore, just like in a trade. Razel Iglesias, he pitched really well for the Reds in the postseason. They got Junior Guerra. So basically, Junior Guerra and Razel Iglesias are, along with Buttrey, are going to make a great bullpen. But then they got Fowler from St. Louis. He won the World Series with the Cubs. So he's a very good leadoff man in the sense that if you're looking for guys to waste pitch count early on. So that I'm actually picking them to go as a wild card team in the AL West. I'm picking, if not, they will win the division. They'll be a top two team in the West, probably make the playoffs, whether it's wild card or division. They're going to take either the A's place on or Houston's place. I don't see Houston doing it as well. So now I'm on to the Nationals. They were already a good team, but they still have Soto. They added Schwarber, who's a big time bat. They added Lester, who's experienced for the pitching staff, and really good. And I think he's going to be the third best pitcher on that team because of Scherzer and Strasburg. But then they have that fourth guy as well in Corbin. That's going to be a very dangerous starting rotation, and it's probably been better than their World Series rotation if they can stay healthy. They got Trey Turner. They added and they still got Trey Turner. They added Brad Hand to their bullpen. That's a great closer. There's not many closers that are like this guy's a really highly thought of pitcher. I know he didn't pitch well against the Yankees in the playoffs. I will say I think he's going to have a bounce back year. He's very good, and he always is one of the league leaders in saves, top 5, 6 at worst. And they had Josh Bell. They added some power. They have a lot of power added to their lineup. I am worried about their speed, so I'm picking them to come in second in that division. Because all they have is Turner for speed at this point. And I guess they have Victor Robles too, but they only have. I'm just worried a lot of their guys can't run, which is kind of the modern day baseball. All right, next up, we're going by pretty quick here. We got the Mets. They added Betances. This is their bullpen, their key bullpen members that I found. We got Betances. We've got Loop. We got Edwin Diaz, who was back on track as of last year. Yeah, and they got Jacob Barnes. Those are like their main bullpen guys, I think. Edwin Diaz being the closer. They need Betances to stay healthy, though. This is barring injury, all of these. And then they added Lindor as a great bat. Listen to this rotation, though. They added Carrasco to an already good rotation where I think Syndergaard's coming back at some point. DeGrom. So they have Syndergaard, DeGrom. This is at some point during the season when Syndergaard's healthy. So Syndergaard, DeGrom, Stroman. I'm assuming he doesn't opt out. And let's see, and Carrasco. Those are some pretty deadly arms right there. That's going to be really elite stuff considering how much money they spent on their bullpen. They added to their bullpen. They have a better pitching staff than last year. They have Peterson, who's showed flashes. Maybe he'll do well, but I didn't really write his name down. He'd be overshadowed by these guys. Bats, they got Lindor, Almora Jr. Almora Jr. was the center fielder for the Cubs. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good bat, good contact hitter. Once he's hot, he's pretty much good for long. He has really long hot streaks. We got Jeff McNeil. We got Pete Alonso, who I think is going to have a bounce back year. Last year was a really weird year. I think he's going to be back on track. I think he's going to hit at least 40 home runs. That's going to be big. They added Pilar. And they're keeping Dominic Smith. Dude, Dominic Smith, great DH last. That guy's an insanely good. He's better at fielding. He's improving at fielding, but his DH spot last year, there's no DH, so he's gonna have to play first base or somewhere on the field. But he is a dominant hitter. He reminds me of a young Pablo Sandoval, but in the sense that he's just puts the barrel in the bat. And he's a big dude. It just crushes it every time. It may not be a home run every time, but this guy can hit home runs more than Pablo Sandoval. But as a hitter, reminds me a lot of Pablo Sandoval. Very big range has a big bat, literally a big bat and a big, strong body. And he can. And in this case, this guy's muscle. I think very highly of Dominic Smith, and I saw an interview with him and Barry Bonds. And Barry Bonds, I know a lot of people don't trust his opinion after the steroid stuff, but I trust his opinion as like a student of the game. He was quite a student of the game, and he has very high praise, as stated in an interview that you could probably find on YouTube of Barry Bonds talking to Dominic Smith. Dominic Smith, breakout year, I'm going to say 25 plus home runs. Not as good as Pete Alonso, but that's Pete Alonso, former Rookie of the Year, and broke records for rookies as far as home runs go. Dominic Smith is about making it, mainly also because Dominic Smith tries to hit for the contact. When there's bases loaded, he just wants to let the next man up. When a runner in scoring position, his goal is to get on or advance the runner. He's not trying to do the big swing because he knows it could be a swing and a miss. So those are my picks. To refresh, it's and I think the Mets are the ones that are going to beat out the Nationals in the division, just because they have so many good players at so much depth in that bullpen. That's been their weakness for so long, and they added bats. And I think that they're also going to be re-signed if they make the playoffs. If they win a playoff round, even if I think if they make it to at least a division round or competitive in that division round, I think that they'll keep Lindor. They'll be able to. So yeah, that's it for this live stream. Hope you guys found this interesting. I will be doing the next video on Monday or Wednesday morning, because I got like 3 units I got to finish. So I've kind of been dormant because of it. All right. Peace.